Building a streaming setup that is both functional and aesthetically pleasing is really hard to pull off, but I think I finally pulled it off with my current gaming setup. I recently did a full stream room tour, but I wanted to make a follow-up video going more in depth of my desk setup. I'm gonna be showing off a lot of gear in this video, so I'll try to link as much of it as possible down in the description below. So the main theme of my setup is a white and black look with some splashes of RGB lighting with my brand colors, which are blue and purple. My desk is the typical cheap IKEA tabletop, and it used to be black, but I recently wrapped it in a white glossy finish, and I just genuinely love the way that it looks now. It makes me want to be at my setup. Up at the top is a mounted black IKEA shelf, and on top of it, I have a few just personal items of mine, along with some plants that I added recently to kind of warm up the room. But the main reason that I have that shelf is so I could have somewhere to mount my stream camera and stream lights. I have two LED panels that I mounted to the underside of my shelf, and I also added some barn doors onto them so I could direct the light directly to me, but not have it splash out into the rest of the room. And then next, I have my camera mounted to the side of the shelf, and the reason I do this is so it's not mounted to my desk, and when I'm gaming, it shakes the desk. There's nothing worse than watching a streamer whose camera is just shaking the entire time. I'm currently using a Sony a5100 with the Sigma 16mm f 1.4 lens, and I have that plugged into external power as well as an Elgato cam link. Honestly, even though the camera is starting to get a bit older, it still looks absolutely amazing for streaming, and I'm sure eventually I will end up upgrading it. And if I had to recommend a camera right now for streaming, it would probably be the Sony ZV-E10. Now behind my setup, I recently added some white hexagon sound absorbing panels, and I think it just looks so clean. It made my setup look a billion times better. They aren't the best at absorbing sound, but for streaming, they are more than good enough. Okay, let's move on to my monitors. I currently use a 2-monitor setup, with my main one being for gaming and whatever I'm mostly focusing on, with the second monitor being for things like OBS, music, Discord, those types of things. Both of my monitors are 1440p, clocked at 150 hertz. My main gaming monitor is an Asus IPS panel and is super high quality for when it was made, and my secondary monitor is a curved VA panel from Biotech. Moving on to my PC. Now this was my first custom build, and it surprisingly turned out really well. I went with a lot of Corsair products, especially for all of the RGB stuff, like the fans, the water pump, the 32 gigs of RAM, and I made sure to do this so everything kind of matched up and I only have to use one piece of software to control the RGB of my system. The PC case was some random one that I found off of Amazon by some small company, and unfortunately they don't make it anymore, but I do love my case and it ended up working out really well. Someday I would love to switch to an all-white mini ITX build, but that is a ways away because the rest of my parts are really strong. My CPU is an i7 8700K, and even though it's getting a little older, it is still super powerful for gaming, which is the majority of what I do on this PC. And as for my GPU, I am rocking an RTX 3080, and I was super lucky to be able to get one at MSRP like 2 weeks after it launched. Now let's move on to my audio setup. For my stream mic, I use a Rode Procaster with a BSW pop filter, and I have this all mounted to a Rode boom arm. And for my interface, I have my mic going into a Go XLR Mini, which is still one of my absolute favorite pieces of tech that I've ever picked up for streaming. And as for my headset, I use the SteelSeries Arctic Pros, which aren't the best sound quality, but they're super comfortable for long streams, and I have that plugged into their game DAC. And then to top it all off, when I don't feel like wearing my headset, I also have some small white speakers, which are the Kanto YU2s, and even though they're small, they really do pack a punch. Now moving on to my peripherals. Let's start with my keyboard, which is a Ducky 1-2 Mini. It is a 60% keyboard, which is, in my opinion, the perfect size for gaming, and to go along with it, I have a glorious wrist rest. And then for my mouse is another glorious product. It is the Model O- wireless, which recently came out, and I'm absolutely in love with the thing. But under all of that is the extra large Fanatic Dash mouse pad, and I used to be someone who would just buy any old mouse pad and didn't really think anything of it, but after getting this mouse pad, I am fully invested in finding good high quality mouse pads, and I can't recommend this one enough. Also, I should mention my chair. It is a Secret Lab soft weave fabric chair, and I absolutely love the thing. I've had it for a few years and no complaints. And now for my favorite part of the entire setup. It is the ambient lighting, which ties everything together. On the backside of my desk, I have a Govee light strip, which can show multiple colors at once. So I usually have it showing my brand colors, but every once in a while, I honestly like switching it to the rainbow mode because it just looks really good. And then up top above all of that, I have 3 RGB floodlights, which I keep behind my monitors and my PC, and they put out a lot of light. These are from Amazon, and I will have these linked down in the description below, but I cannot recommend these enough. Now, if you want to see the rest of my stream room, be sure to check out my full stream room tour video that I recently did, but that is gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.